doing everything I did to become valedictorian and have a fun social life. I took as many AP classes as I could handle and found interesting. Using a planner like Google Calendar literally saved my life. Sometimes my friends and I would schedule hangouts like 3 months before it actually happens because that was how busy all of our schedules were. A huge part also comes from the fact that I socialized a lot during class. During my senior year, I made it a goal to try to talk to as many new people as possible. Whenever I had free time, I would spontaneously ask my friends if they were doing anything and if they wanted to hang out. I also took advantage of the 7 minutes we had to get to the next class. I would walk with someone I knew and try to further our conversations. I'd also try to finish homework as soon as I got it so that I would feel less stressed later on. Obviously, I did procrastinate kind of a lot, but in those instances, my friend who also procrastinated and I would start like this study group. And sometimes we would get really distracted, but then it's in those instances where we come to our senses and we practice our self-discipline skills by telling ourselves to focus. Follow for part 2. The number one study method that helped me get straight A's in high school. Create cheat sheets. And no, I don't mean actually like cheating kind of cheat sheets. But it is essentially one page where you write an entire unit or one chapter of information on it. This is an example of the kind of cheat sheets I would create. So as you can see, there are vocabulary words in different pen colors, and you can use it to basically access any information you want from that unit. The way this works for me is because every time I remember something or try to recall something from class, for some reason I always remember the exact location of it on my notebook, but I just can't remember what the words are saying. Do you know what I mean? Writing everything on one page just helped me organize my thoughts instead of like trying to remember what page a certain vocabulary word was on. I create unit cheat sheets for basically all of my hardest classes, and I'm telling you guys, it works. Follow for more study tips. Here's what straight A students are not telling you. Always do practice tests before your exams. Look for any practice questions that may be similar to the format that shows up on your exam, or at least cover the same topic as your exam. Important side note, make sure you redo homework questions that you got wrong. This way you truly understand why you got the question wrong and know what you can do next time to avoid the same mistakes. Tip number 2. Stop relying on the study materials that your teacher gives you. In order to get higher grades, you should definitely consider looking for your own resources. Some of my personal favorite places to get resources are YouTube, Khan Academy, and Quizlet. You can also create your own study materials, such as flashcards, one-page notes, or even just teaching someone the topic. Tip number 3. Don't be afraid to ask your teachers for help. Try to get your questions answered as soon as possible. You will then be able to truly understand the topic and have less trouble later on when you're learning harder topics. If you like these tips, be sure to follow for more. Here's how you can improve your self-discipline. See if you can relate. You've been procrastinating on your schoolwork all week long, and now it's Sunday, which means your to-do list is longer than normal. You're cramming everything that you're supposed to do for the past week into one single day, and feeling burnt out just by looking at the list. One of the main reasons why we struggle with the lack of self-discipline is because we're feeling so overwhelmed. I actually have an Instagram post that talks about how to be more productive. The first tip really applies for those struggling with self-discipline. Break down large tasks into smaller, more achievable goals. This makes completing overwhelming tasks more manageable. Other ways to be more productive are: stop putting off tasks that take less than 5 minutes to do. While you're working, keep a journal next to you and write down anything that pops up in your head. Start taking action instead of overthinking. It's easier said than done, but by taking the first step, you're already making progress. Follow for more productivity tips.